Hey everyone, Jason here from Off the Beaten Path, and today is day 6 of the variety trip. Not really the variety trip since we left the main trip, but still that same trip. We are heading out of Marree. Now, as you know, our plan of coming down this way was to try and get through to Mount Eyre so that we could do the Simpson. We did confirm last night and again this morning that the Oodnadatta Track north of Williams Creek, I think it is, was shut, and you can probably see why. So this section was definitely still open, but only open to four-wheel drives, and you can see just how wet it is. That raised bank on the left-hand side there is part of the old Garn railway alignment. But yeah, the Oodnadatta Track was super wet. For a track that's a desert track, the number of these large, wet, muddy puddles, I step back from calling them bog holes, but as you saw there, that one was pretty soft, that were across the whole width of the track was pretty crazy. We didn't actually get to use as much of the footage we took as we would have liked because we got a lot of mud on the GoPro camera, but again, you can see here quite a wet spot across pretty much the full width of the track, and you can see those very defined paths for where everyone's been driving. So you do find yourself a lot of the time driving on what is the wrong side of the road, because that's where the track has been sort of put because it's the driest part of the track, or in situations like this it's the only part of the track that doesn't have water all over it. Look, where possible we did sort of avoid the water, but sometimes it was unavoidable. Amazing open country out here again. You know, a couple of days of this desert driving was pretty cool to see. Very different to what we're used to seeing. And yeah, we ran into this group of cyclists. They were cycling from Marree up to Lake Eyre. So yeah, in answer to the question that you're probably thinking, why are we heading on the Oodnadatta Track if we know that it's shut at William Creek? You can see how soft that is off to the side there, so elected to go just straight through, which seemed like a good course of action. So why are we heading on the Oodnadatta Track if it's shut at William Creek and we can't get to Mount Eyre? We're heading out to the viewing point just to get a look at Lake Eyre. It's full, fullest it's been for a long time, and I've never seen Lake Eyre. Just drop that in to show you.
We've come this morning about probably 30-40 k's along the Oodnadatta Track from Marree. She's been soft and muddy, as you can see from the condition of the car, and I mean that's driving on a main highway. We've stopped here at one of the ruins. There's so many ruins in this part of SA. So this is the Wangiana Ruins. Not sure on the backstory of these ruins, but just another amazing old stone building that's still quite well preserved. Shame about some of the graffiti that always seems to occur in these places, but the structure of the building itself is in quite good order. The stonework is still pretty solid, could do with some repointing. Bit of a renovator's delight opportunity. Stone wall here's had a bad day for some reason, some sort of collapse. Probably think that was assisted by humans, and this corner has become a little unstable. Double thickness of rocks. The ground all the way around here is just really soft. You've almost got to watch where you walk. Remnants of the old chimney up the top there. Going inside, it looks like parts of the building have had a concrete floor put in. Again, plenty of graffiti. Another wall section there, fairly badly damaged. Clearly people have been camping in here and having fires inside and all kinds of things. It's a shame for such an historic old building. Timber window sills have seen better days. You can see this one here partially sheltered by the still semi-intact awning versus this one here that's fully exposed to the weather. Now you can probably hear that the car's still running, so the reason for that is we had to jumper lead to start the car this morning at Marree, so we don't particularly want to turn it off when there's no one else around. So not sure if that was just a cold morning and that was the issue, or the battery is on its way out, or the alternator's got too much mud in it and it's not charging, so time will tell.
Yeah, exactly.
Here we are at Lake Eyre.
As always, the footage doesn't really do it justice. It was just amazing to see how much water was actually in the lake. We didn't get to film much of the trip actually to Lake Eyre from the ruins there because the camera got covered, the GoPro case got covered in mud pretty much most of the time, so as you can see from the state of the car. But it was well worth the effort to drive out to Lake Eyre. Did actually turn the car off at Lake Eyre and it restarted, so yeah, for those of you that follow the channel and particularly follow the Facebook page for Off the Beaten Path, you guys know that I'm still having electrical issues with the car, and here we are in September, nearly October, and this was late May, early June. So far it's been to a couple of mechanics, it's been back to my auto elect 3 times, it's been to a Mitsubishi dealer, and each time I get it back they think they've fixed it. But anyway, we'll see if we can finally get it resolved. We've got a little more information recently. So just heading out here from Lake Eyre, you can see how wet that access track was. It was just wet everywhere, and as it's come up on the screen there, so we're heading back on the section of road we've just travelled south. The intention is to go to Port Augusta via Roxby Downs and then head into the Flinders Ranges from there. So again, you can see another one of these decent size water holes, and where people have tried to go around it, it's kind of just churning up and getting the ground softer and wetter. And again, a little bit of mumbo required to get us going through that. And not too far along, and we've hit yet another one. The challenge is these do sneak up on you, and you don't want to brake too hard because the track is wet, soft and slippery, and you don't want to lose control. At least that's my story. Yeah, you do tend to sometimes hit these, and sometimes you get lucky like that, and the water actually cleans the camera because it's actually clean water sitting on top of a fairly hard packed base. And you can see coming towards us here a vehicle with a caravan. So we did see quite a few people towing vans, and yeah, I think it'd be challenging taking a van through some of those various water puddles. Some of them have fairly soft bases, and dragging the weight of a van through would be quite time consuming. We did talk to some guys at Marree that were looking at heading from Marree back to Inaminka the way we'd come, and they were a little bit apprehensive. So yeah, turning right here off the track to off the Oodnadatta Track to head south through to Roxby Downs, where we'd sort of planned to grab lunch. And again, you can see there, you know, the track's fairly well rutted. Again, relying on this water over the road here to wash the camera case a little bit, and you can see that adjoining water just sitting both sides of the track everywhere, particularly off to the left though. Fortunately, this section of the road is built up a little bit. It just goes to show just how wet this year had been. And apologies for the out of focus footage. Again, that's due to water sitting on the camera case. It's hard to tell when you're driving the car when it is and isn't covered. And again, you've got this one dry part of the road. The rest of the road is very soft, very muddy. There's sometimes opportunities like this where you can't get back on the correct side of the road, and I certainly made use of those. But sometimes, like we just were, you do have to drive on the wrong side of the road and just keep an eye out. So what a surprise, more mud and water on the cover. And you can see here some road equipment parked up, ready to try and rectify this situation here when they're able. Again, sorry for the out of focus footage. Once again, we've had an opportunity to clear it off, and one of the things that's a little bit different is when they're doing roadworks, they're just out here doing them. Oftentimes there's not signs, they'll be grading the road while you're driving the road, just because the traffic volumes, even at busy times, are a lot less than what you see in more built up areas. We did have a few good stretches like this that were nice and long and straight, pretty hard packed, not corrugated, so we were able to chop some of the miles, which was good. And just see the red flags there, wash out on the left and on the right, so this footage just slowed down so you can see that. They were something you did have to keep an eye out, so again, you didn't ever want to be driving too close to the edge of the road. You certainly didn't want to be dropping a wheel down in those things. And this is one of the rare instances where there was actually a sign out saying drive 25 kilometres an hour, because they were grading this section of road. So again, goes to show how quickly they get out here. Like, this has only just been reopened, and already the road crews are out here regrading the track to try and get it open for all classes of vehicle, not just four-wheel drives, because these are the main roads for access throughout these northern parts of South Australia. And even here the road's relatively dry, but you can see how wet it is on there. And we're just north of Roxby Downs here, coming off the gravel and onto the bitumen, and that's near Olympic Dam Village. So Olympic Dam is not actually a dam, it's I think an oil and gas plant. So I'm not sure why it's called Olympic Dam, maybe someone knows. So yeah, here we are coming into Roxby Downs, and we're covering a lot of miles this particular day, so we did take the easy way out and pulled into a cafe for some lunch, and just took that photo for contrast. You can barely tell what colour the vehicle actually was. Yeah, not too long after that we were back on the road and heading south towards Woomera. So from here down to Woomera, it's about 75 k's, and then just south of that is Pimba, which is where the Island Lagoon is, which I'd never heard of before, but was well worth a stop to check out, as you'll see shortly. So needless to say, I didn't put heaps of footage in here of highway driving. You've all driven on bitumen roads before, don't need to spend heaps of time watching that, but yeah, just quite interesting to see the changes in the countryside. We started to get a little bit of contour, an elevation change, which was nice after being in the flat desert country for so long. And here we are at Pimba, which is mostly a roadhouse and campground. just south of Woomera, and yeah, turning left here on the main road down towards Port Augusta, and it's only about 3 to 5 k's south of here where the island lagoon is actually located. When you look at a map, you would kind of expect to be able to actually see it from here. You just can't quite see it, but really wasn't too far at all. And as you can probably tell, this road's been built up a little bit there in that section. Further south we got here, the clearer it was looking.
This is the island lagoon, just south of Woomera and Pimba. Never really familiar with these lakes here. Massive body of water. Doesn't look like you can get super close. This is a viewing area here off the main highway. Doesn't really do it justice. I mean, it's not as big as Lake Eyre, but it's pretty big.
It's called Island Lagoon, I believe.
Certainly very picturesque and well worth a stop to check out. Looking on the HEMA, there were a couple of tracks. You can't get right down to the water there. There were a couple of tracks you could get closer, but they were all pretty much shut due to the weather conditions that we'd been experiencing. So a little bit shorter video, this one. Really didn't see the point in showing you heaps of bitumen driving, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this. As always, like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Leave a comment down below if you'd like.